Welcome to another episode of Flyer Nation. I'm Carl Zahn. On our last episode, we sat down with Coach Evan Feifels and Tim Adler from the Lewis men's soccer team. This episode, we will be highlighting the women's volleyball team. Later, I'll be joined with Coach Lorelee Smith, Alexandra Preuss, and Ronni Katarzynski. With me now is head coach of the Lewis women's volleyball team, Coach Lorelee Smith. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
So you've been head coach of the Lewis women's volleyball team for 13 years now. So what first inspired you to be coach?
When I was getting my master's degree at a college called the University of Central Missouri, I helped out with their volleyball program. And it's a volleyball program very similar to this one, top 10 ranking, fighting for a national championship, and it completely rerouted me. I just wanted to be a part of that same type of environment for myself.
So Coach Smith, your record here at Lewis is 341 wins with 82 losses, with a win percentage of .806, ranking 12th among the active NCAA Division II volleyball coaches and 10th in D2 history. Are there any games that stick out?
There's probably a lot. Anytime we have like a big win, so that would include championships. Also, I think my first year, we upset a nationally ranked team for the first time that I was there, and our setter set it over and it just landed. It was kind of a freak thing. And then the first time we made it to the Elite Eight, this last year when we made it to the Elite Eight again. So anytime it's like a big pinnacle, I'll probably be able to recite like the last 5, 6, 7 points and all the energy that the girls have on the court. That's what makes it stick out to your head.
So what is your biggest challenge that you face as a coach?
It's probably gonna sound cliche, but I think anytime you're in a teaching or a coaching role, your job is to make people get better at something that they're not necessarily very good at. So they have to show up every day, and I have to force them to work on something that they're not comfortable with. And I still expect them to have confidence in themselves. So that balance of trying to get better at something you're not good at and still believing in yourself, I think is the hardest thing to get individuals, let alone a team, to master.
So what is your primary style of communication with players, both individually and as a team?
I have pretty much, my door's open, so there's a good maybe half of the team that will just pop in, or they'll schedule weekly meetings. Some of them just vent. I like that. It gives me a relationship with them. It makes me understand the attitude that they're bringing to practice or for the week. As a team, I'm not the best at being a dictator, so we do a lot of things by vote or by democracy. Maybe not everything, but a lot of things that way. I just think if you give the players more power, they're going to take more pride in the program.
That's awesome. I love the way that you look at that. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back with Coach Smith. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Flyer Nation. I'm once again joined with Coach Lorelee Smith. So Coach, you've been here for 13 years at Lewis, and how important do you think it is for alums to be active in the program?
I personally think it's extremely important. The current players can get something out of it, the alumni can get something out of it, and then for me as an individual, I don't ever want them to leave. I get really attached to the players, and then they graduate and they go on and they have their own lives, and I miss them. So our alums give back more in a way of showing up for games and writing letters, whether it be a letter that goes to the player that used to wear their jersey, or a current letter that references the stage of the season that we're in. And then we'll read the letter to the whole team, and sometimes people will tear up if it's really emotional. Sometimes it'll get them really excited, and maybe we'll pull out, a championship because we read the right letter at the right moment.
So what does working as a volleyball coach mean to you on a personal level?
Wow. I think it's changed. In the beginning, and I'm assuming this is with all coaches, you want to win, you want to establish something, you want to recruit good players, and then as you go, you still want to win. That's still pretty important, but it's the relationships and seeing players, with this area of their life, they matured, or they became a completely different person, or they went from being quiet to being a captain and a leader. Those types of things end up meaning not necessarily more to you than the wins, but at least even with them.
So you are married to Dan Friend, the head coach of the men's volleyball team here at Lewis University. Is there any friendly competition going on?
100% there's friendly support. Competition, I think he's the better of the two of us. He genuinely is always happy when we have success. I'm very happy when he has success, but I would prefer us to have more. So I'm working on my attitude.
So you and your team play a game called Playing for Preemies, and all of the money goes towards the Ray Strong Foundation, which is a support for your daughter Ray and other babies who are born premature. So how important is it for the team and to raise awareness and support families with premature babies?
I think when anything hits you as an individual, whether it's your family or directly in a world that you're not a part of, so mine is, premature birth, it opens your eyes to other ways that people or individuals can suffer. And so then it's not necessarily I need everybody to go through what we went through, but if somebody were to have the same experience, now they have a resource. So it's more just to help those people that find themselves in a similar situation.
So this year, the game Playing for Preemies will be held on October 25th. And if you plan on attending, please show your support by wearing purple. Thank you so much for joining us today, Coach.
Thank you for having me.
When we return, I'll be joined by players Alexandra Preuss and Ronni Katarzynski. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Flyer Nation. I am now joined with two players from the women's volleyball team, Alexandra Preuss and Ronni Katarzynski. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, no problem.
So for both of you, how long have you been playing volleyball and who are your biggest mentors or influencers?
For me, I started playing volleyball when I was 14 years old. Before that, I was actually a figure skater, which is kind of funny. But my biggest mentor is probably my high school coach. She kind of got me through a lot and really introduced me to volleyball and got me through it.
I started playing volleyball when I was 11. My biggest mentor all my sisters played volleyball. I have 4 other sisters, and then my dad is also a volleyball coach. And so I got a lot of my experience from them.
Definitely running in the family.
Yeah.
So what does it mean that you are playing under a coach who has broken numerous records and has led the team to many GLVC and NCAA finishes?
I know for me it's super inspiring, especially seeing the teams grow from when she first got here to where we're at now. And being a part of that is what's pushing me through my senior year and making me love the sport.
Yeah, same for me. It's just very inspiring, and it kind of pushes you always to want to do better, not only for her but for the program, because the legacy keeps carrying on every year, which is crazy.
Well, we're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back with Alexandra Preuss and Ronni Katarzynski. Welcome back to Flyer Nation. I'm once again joined with Ronni Katarzynski and Alexandra Preuss. What does a typical practice look like?
So usually we'll start off with some of our staples from that consist of blocking or serve receive. We do that daily basis, I would say. And then we go into, usually if it's a day before we play a big team or a couple days before, we'll do the scouting report that we looked over and run some plays that we know that will work against the team we're working to play.
Yeah, just the environment of the practice overall. There's always music playing. Everyone's always dancing and having a good time, messing around, but also very focused to the point where we know we need to get better and use every minute we can in the gym to improve.
Yeah. So you guys kind of talked about pre-games or pre-game rituals. Do you guys have any specific pre-game or post-game rituals that you guys do?
I would say dance parties for sure.
Yeah.
Always get us going at the beginning. We have this chant that we do to kind of get everybody fired up, and we meet with the coaches before every game to get us pumped up.
Out of all of your accomplishments as a player, is there a match or tournament that stands out?
I know for me it would be either our sophomore year when we were in regionals and we were down 2 sets and had to come back and beat Rockhurst, and 3 sets in a row, which was crazy experience, and the fact that we did that to get a ring was insane. It was such a cool experience.
Yeah, I think mine would be my freshman year when we were playing in the regional championship, and we won to go to the Elite Eight, and that kind of set the stage for me for what this program is and how we're taking off from there.
What advice would you give younger players who are looking to play in college volleyball?
For me, I would just tell them to stick with it and work as hard as they can. If they have a dream to play in college, or no matter what their dream is, just stick with it and don't ever let other people discourage you. Just go for it.
Yeah, for volleyball, always keep your options open. Don't kind of narrow yourself into one certain area of like D1, D2, whatever it is. That's one of the things that I learned in my experience of recruiting and everything, and just kind of keeping a positive attitude because it's very stressful. But once you get through it, it's totally worth it.
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break, but we will be right back with Coach Lorelee Smith, Ronni Katarzynski, and Alexandra Preuss to see their prospects on the season. Welcome back to Flyer Nation. I am now joined with Coach Lorelee Smith, Alexandra Preuss, and Ronni Katarzynski. Thank you all for coming and sitting with me and talking with me.
Thank you.
So, off-the-court relationships are just as important as on-the-court relationships. What does a team do to really foster those?
I know our team specifically, like, we're very team bonding oriented, and it's kind of crazy, but like everything we do on the court relays off the court. So like we're always going to dinner together, we're always doing activities together that people are like, don't you kind of get tired of each other? But and like somehow we like never get tired of each other, which is really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, for us, team bonding, it's not really a forced thing. It's always just a decision for us, and there's sometimes where the coaches have to say you can't talk to your teammates today because we're with each other and want to be around each other so much, so that we learn what it's like to not have each other. So it's kind of the opposite of team bonding because we're always together and just enjoy each other.
That's awesome. And that definitely, those relationships that you build off the court do affect, on-court performance. I think that's great. So do each of you have a specific goal that you want to accomplish this season?
Oh, wow. I think as a team, we're constantly talking about winning the championship. That's both conference and a national championship. But I think individually, everybody sets goals as well.
Yeah, I would say our big team goal, obviously, like she said, is winning a national championship. That's what our program has been built on since I came here. And then a personal goal for me is getting Player of the Year for GLBC.
Yeah, what they said, and then also my personal goal is to break some of the digging records that we have here at Preuss University.
That's awesome. Those are a lot of big goals, and hopefully you guys get them, obviously.
Thanks.
Looking forward to the rest of the season, are there any teams that are maybe going to put up a fight or that we're looking forward to playing?
Yeah, Rockhurst is in our conference, and they pretty much returned everybody from last year, and they weren't easy for us last year by any means, so they should be exceptionally strong. And then there's 2 or 3 other teams that maybe last year were middle of the pack, but they also returned everybody. But I'd say conference-wise, Rockhurst is probably sitting at the top.
That's it for this Flyer Nation. Thank you guys so much for coming and talking with me today. Make sure to look us up on Lewis University Television Network YouTube, and you can watch all the previous episodes there.